Two moms, two marketers, two women new to the financial industry. They have a lot of questions. That's why they're bringing in financial experts to educate all of us here on A Penny or Two for Your Thoughts.
Hey everyone, it's Chantel and Liz with another episode of A Penny or Two for Your Thoughts. What? It's like
happened?
It's like
just because we won an award, now all of a sudden, no, it was like is that the commercial?
Yeah, it feels like it. For another episode of A Penny or Two for Your Thoughts. That's how it felt.
Oh, you know what? It was like a roller coaster. It was like A penny or two for your thoughts.
Now you're singing it.
I was kind of singing it.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, don't sing it. We can't turn it into a sing song. Ooh, a musical. We could make this podcast into a musical. Everybody has to sing. We welcome our two guests. La 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 la.
I'm not joining in.
Nope.
I'm not doing this.
Fine.
I know where you're trying to go with this, and I'm not doing this with you.
That's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
We just lost listeners. They were like, and if they start singing, we're out.
Let's talk about, okay.
What word did we get?
We were supposed to think of a word. Is that what you said?
Oh, yeah. What's the word that we need to try to get in today? Okay, listeners, you have to plug your ears because we're going to pick a word. We call it the egg word. We always find a word to say in our podcast. Usually it's from coworkers. They give us a word.
Yeah.
You've been saying hoot and doody a lot.
I have.
So let's find a way to get that in there.
That'll be easy. It's like wormed
but
in my head.
it starts now. Like that didn't count.
Okay, that didn't count. All right. We are recording this a day before Halloween.
Oh, happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Eve.
Eve. I can't remember if we talked about this last year though. What your
Halloween?
favorite candy was as a child? Or
no,
when you were trick or treating, or did you trick or treat?
I did trick or treat. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did I ever tell you the story about how my costume was made of that paper, like paper mache or whatever that stuff was, or
that hard plasticky stuff?
No, it's like what you decorate parties with the paper
Streamers?
But it's
You had a paper?
Well, but it was like can't think of the name of it. Words are hard.
What were you?
I was a witch.
Okay.
And I had a cool dress on, but it was like to add flair to the dress.
Oh.
So anyway, it started raining. And that stuff can't get wet.
Did you melt?
It melted. It was like literally my mom and I were laughing. We were running home. Literally, I'm running and my costume is falling apart. Like it was in my, like she had done cool streamers in my hat and it was black. So of course it's ending up on my skin. So it's not only is it melting, but it's in my skin.
I'm sorry.
Okay, back to the candy. Back to the candy. Because I'm going to go eat a bucket of it after that.
What was your favorite back then?
Gosh. I'm trying to remember what I would always eat first. I've always been a fan of Three Musketeers. I probably went for that if it was a chocolate.
Yeah.
If it was like a sweet treats or whatever, it's like the old school Skittles.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Not like today's Skittles, but like the old school ones.
Yeah.
For some reason, today's Skittles taste different.
I agree.
How about you? What was your go-to?
Butterfinger or Reese's.
Yeah.
That was mine.
Butterfingers are good. Nobody hands out Butterfingers anymore.
Also, I was wondering why I kept having a headache all week this week because I have been eating our Halloween candy. I get headaches from chocolate. And I'm like, why do I have this headache all the time? It's because you've ate 465 of the candy bars you're supposed to give to the little children.
So funny story. We have bags and we put them in our closet, like so out of sight, out of mind. Right. In the pantry.
Yeah.
And I had made a small hole in the bag in the corner just so I could grab. There was a Snickers that was literally staring at me.
So you could sneak it out?
So I snuck the Snickers out and Chris saw me sitting there with the Snickers on the table and he goes, "How'd you get that out?" I go, "I may have cut the corner of the bag off and there's a small hole in the bag." And he had been working from home all day that day. Mm-hmm. He's like, "So you're meaning to tell me there's a hole in that bag and I could have had a piece of candy all day today, but I didn't, and I didn't open that bag."
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
Secrets of Halloween.
Yeah.
You know what is amazing today is that we have a guest that is returning for the third time.
Is it
third?
Wow.
There he is. He just gave it away.
Was that him?
It was. You don't have voices in your head. Well, you kind of do with these
Oh, that's
headsets.
so good. That's so good.
All right.
Oh,
Should I just roll right in?
Let's roll with this.
All right. They're not wearing costumes, friends, but they are two amazing people. They have both been with Centris for 12 years, and they do awesome things every day for our members. Our first guest, like we said, is a repeat guest. He's been on the show 3 times, although he doesn't remember them. That's how it started before we were recording.
He literally blacks out.
Yeah,
during these.
like I think he blacks
what?
out, but everything he says is accurate. He's one of our mortgage loan originators and has had quite the year since his last visit with us. He won Mortgage Lender of the Year.
What?
Yeah, big timer.
Mortgage
Big time.
professional.
Oh, mortgage professional of the year. And he's extremely knowledgeable at the mortgage industry. So we'll just go ahead and welcome back to the show, PK Kopun.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Welcome back. All right. Before she pulls any pranks, I better introduce our next guest, who really, truly is a gem, even though she's really played some awful pranks on me, specifically in the office, more than once. One of them she did catch on video, and she does play that for people here and there, because thankfully I didn't say anything too ridiculous, but yeah, she's a prankster. She has worked in the financial industry for 16 years. She's our assistant vice president, retail financial services. She is an Army Reserve veteran, married to her high school sweetheart, has 2 kids, 2 fur babies, but wait, there's more. She's just graduated with her master's degree in organizational performance. She is one busy woman. Fancy pants. Boss lady. Welcome to the show, Diane Cruz.
Thanks for having us.
Yay. Thanks for joining, you guys. We were, trying to figure out what our next episode was going to be. And we had just heard that you had graduated, and you had just... Actually, we knew about your award.
We
knew about it
secret. And so we knew this was coming up, and we're like, gosh, this is going to air in November, and such a, time to be thankful and appreciate all the things. And you guys have just done some amazing things, and we just want to tell your stories. So here we are.
Here we are.
Here we are.
Are you guys ready?
Yes.
We're so ready.
Oh my God.
Totally.
Okay.
All right. Put on your bragging hats. We want you to tell our listeners about your amazing accomplishments and what your accomplishment. I really can talk. I promise. I'm good with words.
Okay.
It's part of my day job.
She's nervous.
I'm nervous. Yes. I'm nervous. I feel like this is my first podcast. I'm nervous that Dee is going to prank me. And
I know.
I'm going to be good. I promise.
Okay.
Famous
All
last
right.
words.
Famous.
Pinky promise.
All right. Pinky. Got
Pinky
it.
promise. No pranks today.
Okay. So you guys tell our listeners about your accomplishments and what that means to you.
Well, first, I do have to say that to receive that award, wish I would have brought it, but I forgot. Just for you to see it. But it was really a huge surprise for me. I've been to the Nebraska Mortgage Association conferences for many years, and I always felt that whoever they nominated was so well deserved. I didn't see it coming, but they said that that would be me for this year, and I'm good with that. But I believe it just represents many years of hard work, or many years of being in the industry and getting to know all different people all over our city. Because I believe besides Centris, we have such high quality real estate professionals in our city and area, whether it's real estate agents or other lenders, other support people. We just have a high caliber of people serving our community. So it's a huge honor to be pointed out as a mortgage professional of the year.
Yeah.
Because I put in at least 25 years into this.
Wow.
Chasing this award. No, not really. I didn't know it was going to come. But
so set the stage for us that day. So this is a luncheon, right?
Yes, it was during. Yeah.
Okay, so it was a luncheon, and they do all kinds of things at that luncheon, and you had no idea.
No, not at
but
all.
your family, they were behind the scenes waiting to surprise you.
Yeah.
I love that
And
so much.
your son got up
Yeah.
and presented the award to you, correct?
Yes, he did. That too was a surprise because I thought they picked him to go and give a speech that he did because I thought that meant, well, he's
Yeah, 'cause
getting
he's in the industry.
award.
Yeah.
And even after he started giving some clues, which are very specific to me, I was videoing the whole thing so I can show his mother. Because I didn't know. I wanted her to see, look, here's your son giving the speech. Check it out. And even though he gave specific clues that I should have caught on, well, that's me.
Yeah.
The specific phrase that he uses, this person likes to learn a lot of things, and he has coined his own phrase for his car because he's listening to stuff in his car all the time and calls it his own university on wheels. That should have been a dead giveaway, but I was still oblivious because I was busy.
It was so great.
Just a proud papa moment watching your son.
Yeah.
There he
So
is.
good. Yeah. And we got a picture of you when they said your name and you were so shocked. It was the best picture. I mean, it just encapsulated everything about that day. So congratulations.
Yes. So thank you. It's a huge honor, and it's fun too at the same time to be among all of those peers, to be nominated. And like I said, they're all great people. So
All right. Cool. Thank you.
And it's also cool being part of a Centris team while receiving that award.
That's great.
Not someplace or somebody else, but also having a representation for our credit union Centris.
Very great. Very
among
great.
that.
So good.
Right.
That's awesome.
Dee?
Oh, is it my turn?
Your turn.
What? So we're going to talk about this? No. So recently, as you mentioned, this year I received my master's in organizational performance. And what this accomplishment means to me is it just proves to me that I can do hard things. I'm resilient. And this is just an accomplishment of the work that I put in. And no one can take this away from me. So it means a lot to me.
That's amazing.
So awesome.
So tell us a little bit more about your degree and why you wanted to pursue this and how did you balance this? I mean, we heard you're married, you have 2 kiddos, you're working full time. How did this all come about?
Yeah. So the whys and how I did it. So first and foremost, my first motivation was my family, the Cruz household, right? I have 2 little girls.
Did you hear it?
Did you do it?
I know. I was going to try to do it, but I didn't want to embarrass myself, which I already did embarrass myself. So I may as well have tried. Cruz.
There we go.
You did it. See? So did it for my household, especially my 2 little girls. I wanted to serve as a role model for them. And the second piece that motivated me to pursue a degree of any sort was for my 12-year-old self. Growing up, there was definitely some challenges, and I faced moments of homelessness, poverty, and starvation. And I didn't want that to be my reality. I had a vision for something greater, so I just wanted to rewrite my story. So I knew I had to put myself in a position where if I invest in education, that's going to open myself up for more opportunities in this ever working workplace. And how I did it, you tell me. I'm trying to figure it out. You tell me, and then I'll tell you if you're right or wrong. I'm kidding. There was definitely it was a hard balancing act. There was always some sort of trade-off taking place, whether that meant 99% of the time, my lunchtime was dedicated to homework, lots of late nights. There's a lot of PTO requests that I submitted through Centris. Thank you, Julie, for approving them. So that way I can work on my midterms and my finals. And there's just a lot of multitasking at my kids' activities and stuff. I was always at the facilities. Great, you're here. I got you here while you're doing your practice. I'm just going to work on my homework. So it was a lot of that.
Wow. Gosh, a lot of balancing.
Yeah.
And now she gets to sit with us at lunch.
Yeah.
Which is the best.
It is.
I would feel awful every time I would walk by with my lunch. I'm like, walk of shame. I'm like, I can't sit with you guys. I got to go do homework. It was the worst.
And I don't even know that we realized that. I mean, it was just, you were so dedicated to it, but it wasn't like, oh my gosh, I got to do this again. Like it was just, it was your thing and you were doing it on your time and your way of doing it. So,
and I think what I I appreciated the most about it with you is you were very positive. You had a positive mindset.
That's fair. Yeah.
You never seemed, like Chantel said, we never saw you just being like, oh, I gotta go study now. I can't sit here for lunch.
Yeah.
It was, you were very proud and you walked proud and you were going and doing that. And then when you achieved that, I could just see how proud you were. That 12-year-old self is applauding you.
Thank you.
She's like, you go, girl.
Thank you.
That's great.
That's awesome, Dee.
Thank you.
PK, what is the process of being named the Mortgage Professional of the Year, and what do you think contributed most to that achievement for you?
I believe the process is composed of different factors, but one of them, it starts with being nominated by my peers at the Nebraska Mortgage Association, and then of course being voted in, and they agreed. So that helped. They agreed this guy's all right. So that helped.
He's all right.
He's all right.
I think that again, like I said before, that my years of service and many connections that I have made over time, all over the city with different lenders, different real estate professionals, and even collaborations with other lenders. You know, I'm a person of resource. If I can't do it, I'd like to know who can, and we trade things like that. And so, and working that for so many years and treating everyone fairly and to the best I know how, and professionally and respect. So all of these things put together added up into being Mortgage Professional of the Year.
That's
I
great.
like saying that.
Yeah.
I only get to do this once.
Yes. Own it.
Yeah.
We'll
Own
see
it.
if you can.
Own it for a
We'll
while.
see how many
Yes.
times you can say it in here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's your hoot and duty. You do it.
Thank you for
Ding, ding,
allowing
ding, 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 ding.
for allowing me. But I completely understand what Diane is saying. This is dedication, and I call it, in your case and mine, long obedience in the same direction, because you couldn't give up at any
Yeah.
point. You just had to go and finish it. So
So good.
I love it.
I'm gonna walk out of here today going,
I know.
let's do this.
I know.
Right?
And then I'm gonna go, what am I doing?
I'm over here trying not to tear up. I'm like, yes,
I know.
okay, yes.
Between both of you, I'm like, oh my gosh.
So great. So for both of you, what sort of daily habits or routines did you have to establish to make sure that you could accomplish this?
don't get me started. You can
Okay, I'll take this one, PK. I'll start us
You can
off.
start this off.
Definitely, it was always looking ahead. It was one day at a time, always consistently looking at my assignment calendar. What do I have going on today? What do I have going on this week? And by looking at that, I was able to schedule my college work time around my commitments to my career and my family. And I also did a lot of alignment again of my PTO when I had those midterms and finals.
How long was this process? How many years did this take you to?
For this one, it was about, I want to say 2 years, maybe 2.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
It's a long time
It
of
was.
dedication.
Didn't feel like it,
That's
but
amazing.
thank you.
PK.
Well, again, this award all came from many years of hard work and dedication. But for me to even be in this spot where I am now and with you, it's really important to me that I continue, and I have established and I follow my morning routines and all kinds of sets of new habits that I learned along the way, which I practice consistently. I've been a master of starting and stopping things, but now I have things that I do consistently, which are meaningful to me, and those are my morning routines.
Good.
My wife might say, well, why don't you sleep in? I don't think so. We got to do this no matter what day it is, or holiday or whatever. And 2017 was my marking year. I count everything from 2017 on up as my second half, because that's when I overcame the prostate cancer. So everything is kind of different and even more special, not than there was before. So for me, I believe that I have to prepare my mind, body, and spirit and emotions to go into every day and face it. So I do. It's really important to me. I have to tell you this because you know how this works, Liz. 3 times a week consistently for the past 2 years. 2 years is just the same gym, but it was since 2017. The strength training is consistent with me, and it's a first victory of the day.
Yep.
5 a.m. is early.
Yes, it
And
is.
that's what I learned from David Goggins, that I call it my first victory of the day. After that, I feel if I can do this, I can do who knows what else,
That's
how many
great.
more
Love
things.
that.
So these are routines that I practice and that are really, really important to me. And we're to the point now, I don't think about this. I don't talk about it other than right here, right now. I don't say I gotta go to the gym or whatever. It's routine. It just happens. It gets done the same way as we all get up,
Yeah.
shower, get dressed or whatever. We just do it.
Part of
It's
your
just how
life.
it is.
It's a habit.
But I had to work to get to that point. That's didn't happen overnight. So so all of these things, but I want to let you know that, and to our listeners, so that I prepare my mindset before I walk into Centris. Because when I walk into my branch at 168 in Center, there's no more thinking or woe is me or I'm too tired, I'm this, I'm that, I'm not anything. It's game on. The minute, as soon as I walk through the branch, it's just game on, because I know what I'm walking into. I'm walking into a good environment, a positive environment, and then it's just how it flows.
That's right.
It
That's
flows,
right.
and that's how I want it. But I had to work hard, just like Diane did, to get to this point. It
Right.
didn't just
Just didn't fall
happen.
on your lap
Just
and
right.
No,
fall on your lap
didn't.
and just you had to work.
She may be a positive person. I had to learn how to be positive.
I don't
People
believe that.
Yes, I did.
I don't
it
believe that
either.
Yes, I
either.
did. I had to
PK.
learn how
He's
to
a
be a
little
morning
fibber.
person. I had to learn how to have a positive mindset. I know what the opposite of all of this is like. So it's all learned and it can be done.
I love that.
Thank you.
Do you still, every morning, I remember when I would walk into Center, you always had your music playing, like your classical music to get your day going. Do you still do that?
I don't know that it's classical music all the time, but there's always music playing. That's how I start. It just depends what's
Okay.
on my mind at that time. As of lately, just the most recent selections have been the Rocky theme.
I was
You
going to
know,
ask,
that begins.
what's your pump up song? I
Well,
was just
that-
going to ask.
For the time being.
Yeah.
But for a longest time of these 2 years, I had workout songs on my way to the gym
Yep.
playing
So good.
by
Love it.
some band called Oh Larceny. The song was called Light That Fire. It's a totally workout song. And then I learned another song and added it to the repertoire. I have to tell you, because these are fun. Another song by I think the band is called the Sun Heat or Sun something. Their song is called Be the Best. So
Oh, I love it.
I wanted to get that into my head as we get started at 5 a.m. when it's dark and
That's right.
streets are empty.
Right.
You know what
So
I'm
good.
saying?
I
Yes.
love that. That's all
So
about
like
that
that.
mindset.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's setting
Yeah.
that mind,
Mindset.
getting that mind
Mhm,
set for the day,
mhm.
set for the challenges that may lay ahead.
For sure.
And they do.
And
do.
and that mindset is so important. So
Yes.
when you think about that, and we've got that positive mindset, but we also have that growth mindset.
Mhm.
How important is that in achieving your success, and how, for the two of you, did that play a role in those accomplishments?
Definitely with that growth mindset, super important, and what it has allowed me to do is transform how I approach goals and challenges. It's allowed me to view my failures. Did I say that right? Failures. I don't know why he wants to try to come out in Spanish. I'm like, Diane, it's just a word. English, okay?
So what is it in Spanish then?
Mis fallas. Like fallas is
Ooh, I-
failures.
I like.
So that's why I'm like, failures. And you're trying to go to fallas. I'm like, no.
See, she could turn it into a musical with me.
She could.
Yeah.
No, you don't want to hear a dog barking. That's what I sound like. No, but it's allowed me to view those opportunities, learn from them and improve from them, and also develop strategies to overcome those difficulties and how to prevent those things from happening in the future.
That's great.
That's great.
Diane is so right. Well, growth is very, very important to me because I learned that I believe now that the best can get better. And one of my favorite quotes is also what drives me when I learned this quote from Maya Angelou: always do your best, but when you know better, do better. That just drives me because 2023 was a pivotal year, if you will, in my line of work. It was a huge challenge.
Yes.
The interest rates stopped being 3% or who knows what ridiculous number like that. And they went straight up, and whatever I was doing before wasn't going to cut it anymore. So I had to do something different with myself. I'm just grateful that I recognize that there has to be a shift here. We can't keep doing what we're doing. So I went on this quest to have to change my mindset and try to focus more on sales and when you start learning something new, and you would know this, then if you stick with it, that's going to lead to growth. And we said this word mindset so many times, but it's so important. And I had to learn to change my mindset for 2023 because whatever it was before wasn't going to be good enough. But I did that by working on it, even though it's not a formal classroom or a paper, if you will, or a test. I still had to learn it and apply it. And it all started with starting listening to David Goggins on YouTube because he's a big mindset person. And I didn't know any of that before that I learned from him. And after a while, then I started listening and reading from Coach Michael Burt. And he spoke into my life the things that I felt were missing or needed to change or can be better. But whether it's a master's degree or whether you're in sales, you still got to do all these things. They're not given to you. All right. You had to apply and first become aware. So I became aware that my mindset needs to get better and change. And then these are the two men, even though they're virtual, and I met Coach Burt in person, but they spoke into my life, and that helped me both survive and thrive during 2023 because things changed so much. So that if you recall, I did qualify for President's Trip in 2023, but it was one of the hardest ones ever.
Wow.
Most challenging ones.
Yeah, you worked very hard.
So it was necessary to apply changes, and that's all part of, growth.
Right.
It just
Absolutely.
happens.
I think what's important is you both kind of mentioned this. You had a support system. You didn't just do it on your own, right? So talk to us about mentors that you have or what your support system looks like to help you get through what you guys have accomplished.
Oh, so that's a really great question. So I didn't have an official mentor per se. I like to think that everyone has, is a part of your life one way or another, whether it's a sentence or a chapter in your book of your life. And first and foremost, shout out to my colleagues, right? For me, always ditching them for during lunchtime. They're definitely supportive. And there was always, you got this, very motivational. It was really important to have that at home as well. It was their words of encouragement, especially on those weeks or days where I was just so hard on myself or having those nervous breakdowns. It was truly their words of encouragement that got me to that finish line, and just thinking about what would this mean for my family, not just internally, but my outside family as well. Having two parents and they had 7 kids because they didn't have a TV. So it was cool. I want to do this for them. I want to be able to say, hey, look, I was able to do this work for us.
Oh, it's amazing.
Gosh.
I love it.
Isn't that amazing?
What about you, PK?
So support systems are hugely important to me because I also believe I'm one to give support to those that needed, wanted. I recognize they needed. So my support system starts at home, of course. My wife was very patient with me and all of my disappearing every morning. He's gone. She wakes up by herself. She knows what she's doing, but she's been patient with me with that and all of my networking events and these events and that events and classes and
All the things.
doing, going away in the evenings to attend networking or teach a class or whatever. So she's a huge part of my support system, but also are the virtual mentors that I mentioned already. And locally, it was Van Deeb. I spent some time with him because he's local. He's here. He's hands-on. We can see each other. So he was helpful. My branch personnel at 168 was always amazing and always supporting in all ways. But so were my manager, Heidi Weeks, and then Brian. They were accepting of my, not just antics, but things that I was doing, and then offered suggestions how to do things better, tweak it, this and that. So I thrive on support systems, and I also give it as best I can when I can.
Yeah, that's totally fair.
So yeah, huge.
Well, we talk about all the amazing things that you guys are doing to get there. Were there any setbacks? And if there were, how did you bounce back from them?
Yeah, definitely. I experienced a handful of setbacks throughout this journey. The biggest one that I can think of is in 2012, I lost my little sister. Me and her were 11 months apart of age, so we were super close. And because we were only 11 months apart, there was 2 weeks where we were the same age, so we were like, we're twins, even though we weren't. But it was just kind of cooler to do. So going back to that, so I had lost my little sister, and during that time I was going to night class, and it was like twice a week, and it was brutal. It was like a 6 to 9 p.m. college algebra class. Like, who wants to do that after working 8-hour shift?
Or at all, ever.
Right?
Exactly.
So
math. Ew.
I know. And I was at math. I was like, what? You still want me to think? Okay, at this time. So it was very brutal because it was twice a week, 6 to 9 p.m. And after going through that, when I took my leave of absence, I came back and I just could not focus. Like, I was there, but I wasn't there because I've never lost a sibling. I've never experienced that. So this was totally new setback for me. So I couldn't refocus. So I was able to talk to my professor and said, hey, I can't do this. I can't. I'm just not here. And the professor was very understanding. I remember he gave me a big old hug and said, I will be here.
Wow.
I will be here for you. So I took that semester off, and then I took the following semester off, took a breather, and truly just tried to work through my mental health through that trauma. And it was time. It's that time that I needed to step away to try to bounce back. And it was actually a funny story. 2 weeks ago, my kiddos, they're like, Mom, we got to go to church. We got to go to church. I'm like, but do we? No, I'm kidding. We do. It's important. So they're the ones that motivate us to go to church more often. We went to church, and at that parish, that professor was in the pew over, and I couldn't catch him fast enough because church ended, and I was trying to find him at the end to say thank you. Like, you are part of my story in my book because of how you treated me, not only during that time, but when I came back and how you supported me through my learning journey to get here.
Wow.
Oh, that's amazing.
Talk about destiny, right?
Right.
I was like, holy, well, I'm going to listen to my kids more often. Go to church. Okay. Got it.
Yeah, it's amazing. So back to Centris, my setback, the one I would like to describe is the one that happened in 2017 because it was full of new stuff and gobs and gobs of uncertainty from all directions. But back to Centris, and thank you for things that Centris does in 2016 through that car show and PSA test. I got my diagnosis that I'm a good candidate for prostate cancer, and sure enough, all those doctors confirmed it. So in 2017, I had a surgery to remove the cancer, the prostate cancer, in 2017 of April. And so just the word cancer creates all kinds of things in your head, and fear and uncertainty and wondering and all of that. And you pray extra hard but don't know where it's all going, how it's going. But I made it through all of that, again, back to the Centris support team, because my team carried my production. along with the manager and the processor and everybody who was involved in other MLOs. They carried my loans and my production so that it wasn't that obvious that I wasn't there, because I could never imagine to this day, what's going to happen if I'm not there? Who's going to do all this? Who's going to take care of these members? But they did. So that when I came back, I just continued where I left off. But it was very frightening and challenging time in many ways that went from April through May on, and didn't know how it's going to play out or what was going to happen. But you're looking at me 7 years.
That's right.
So 7 years later, it's a huge blessing. But again, it's the support system, is the team that helped me overcome what looked like a huge setback, because I didn't know where it was going or how it's going to play out.
That's really the great thing about Centris. Really, it's we're all coworkers, and we see each other probably more than we even see our own families.
Yeah.
So we truly are family. So when things like that happen, it takes a village, and your village just steps right in. No, doesn't skip a beat, and helps take care of all of that for you. So.
Brought me meals too.
Oh,
Food is so important. We all know that at Centris, how important food is.
Food is love.
And you're so right. As you guys continue to say, Centris, it truly is a family. I remember when I went through that journey with my sister, I wasn't even at Centris for not even 90 days. So I didn't qualify for a leave of absence yet. And Centris, I was so scared. I'm like, hey, I gotta be gone for like a week or two. Got to go to Minnesota and Mexico for all of this. I was so terrified. And Centris said, okay, like, and do what you got to do. And they were so supportive. And they didn't skip a beat to support me in any way that they could during that time.
Amazing stories. Love it. All right, let's switch here gears a little bit. It's not an easy road. We know that, we've hearing about this, but what are some risks that you guys had to take in the journeys that you had? What are some examples that really stand on your mind to make sure that, you keep going for your goals, but you have to be risk taker sometimes. You got to be bold. What does that look like?
You do. Yeah, definitely. One of the examples I can think about right away that stands out is when I changed my degree. So I was actually studying at the University of Omaha for 3 years to get my degree in criminal justice. Oh, so I thought I wanted to get into the FBI field, do something like that. That was always my passion. And once I came to Centris and drank the Centris Kool-Aid, I took the risk of changing my degree. I didn't know if it was going to work out, because by then I was only 4 years in the financial industry, brand new, and I've already done 3 years of the work at UNO. So I made the risk of changing my degree to business, and then of course got that bachelor's, and then went on to my master's. And I think it's worked out. Like, I get to hang out with PK, who has like the best dad jokes. I get to be
right
here, golden ear recipient winners. Like, I think it's worked out. I don't know about you guys, but it's working out.
Yes,
good.
it's amazing. It's amazing to see your energy. I mean, I don't know if I've ever met anyone like you, where you walk into a room and you're always so positive. Always.
Unless she's hangry, because then Dina will come out.
When Dina comes out,
Dina will come out. Ask my family, poor them. They put up with Dina more. They should.
I'm glad you get the positive side, because I usually get the well.
That's true. I know. She gave me that the other day, and it scared me. I'm like, what is happening? But
I'm like, really, we are a family. We're family.
Right? We're family, right?
Have a Snickers. Okay, Dina.
Yeah. Don't look her in the eye. Do not look her in the eye.
No, never. She'll stick a cricket noisemaker in you.
Yeah, exactly.
That was so fun.
Oh,
Another
my
podcast
gosh.
for another day.
I need to do
another
it
day.
more often.
Mhm.
Yep. What about you, PK?
Well, I would have to say that this journey started with a first step of risk that I took going back to 1999. At that point in time, where I was at Commercial Federal, things were changing and happening, and I had to decide, do I want to be the mortgage loan originator on commission only or not? Either I continue with this and they accept me, or I have to go do something else. Now, I was much younger then, 1999, and I didn't know half the stuff that I know now. I didn't have routines. I didn't have mentors. I had nothing. I just knew how to do loans. And so we made a decision, my wife and I, that we will go to that and trust that things will work out fine being on all commission. One of those things at that time that went through my head that I learned was just jump off the cliff and net will appear. Thankfully, it did appear. It's not what I recommended for everybody every time, but it did in this situation, but it was a huge risk. It was new. Like I said, we had a young family and this was all new territory of how is this going to play out. But that was a risk that I took. And here I am so many years later. Good. There were other risks, and there was one especially we won't go into that didn't quite pan out like that. But
for another show.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
Another
He's
show.
Going to be on here 4 times.
All right.
Yes, do it, PK.
I like it.
That was a risky proposition. So.
All right. Do you talked about your 12-year-old self in PK? You've gone back many, many years. So I want you to go back to your 21-year-old self.
Yeah.
And if you could ask that 21-year-old you what success looks like, and how has that definition changed for you over time?
Yeah. For me, at that time when I was 21, I viewed success the way society had that for me, had it laid out. So lavish vacations, that dream, that big house, fancy car.
Yeah.
Now I can officially say my mid 30s, hey, that has totally changed. And how I see success now is I will choose family moments and memories and just the more time with them over any materialistic thing. Success also looks to me is being able to walk into an organization every day, to walk in and work with the fine folks like you guys here, and just enjoy what I'm doing, enjoy who I'm working with, and being in a culture that promotes that work-life balance. That's success.
That's great. I love it.
Thank you.
I would agree with that, but oh my goodness, it's 21. Now it feels like I knew nothing, but I knew 2 things back, if you want to know, at that age. Success back then looked like, dude, you got to make a lot of money. That's where it's at. A lot of money.
Yeah.
And you got to get a wife. Good wife.
You got to find this.
You gotta find
Right,
this.
get a woman. Let's go.
That was success as it looked like back then. But
And how many years have you been married?
it's coming. I'm going to
Oh, you're going to tell.
Oh,
Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah, you teed him up.
cliffhanger. That's because it plays into the fact that over the years, that whole picture of success has changed so much. And now I consider my success to be, I'm rich, but I'm rich in relationships. I know people and wonderful people from all walks of life and all sorts of occupations, and that fascinates me to no end. That's part of the success. I've learned since then there's 2 types of success. One is monetary, to be sure, but the other one is internal. You can't measure it with money, but it's there and you want it. And that's what I want. And I didn't know any of that at age 21. And also at age 21, I didn't know to measure success that back to Centris, I would qualify to go on a president's trip 10 times. That's success to me now.
Yeah.
I love it. I didn't know that then. I didn't even know how to imagine anything like that. And to answer your question, it is a huge blessing to be married to my first wife for 37 years now.
Oh, wow.
That's amazing.
See? And she had to put up with a lot, and she's very familiar with the concept and has played the role very well of being a mortgage widow many times over in supporting what I do. And that's why there is success, because of that kind of support system coming from home.
So amazing.
So you guys have provided us with such a amazing information, but just such insight into who you are. I appreciate just hearing your stories. As we think about just wrapping up here and talking about what this means to you, if someone was starting out or thinking, hey, I want to try something new. I'm gonna go out on that ledge, and hopefully that net is under me here. What advice would you give someone who's thinking about, looking at doing something incredibly different and amazing?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think first and foremost, don't ever wait for the right time because that will never come. There's always
Bingo.
going to be something that's something we can't control.
Mhm.
Change is going to happen and you're going to have to, face that. The other thing is for me, for example, for my schooling was develop those strong time management and scheduling skills that really helped me through my journey.
Mhm.
What about you, PK?
Well, I interpret that as what if somebody were starting out and wanting to get into
Yeah.
professional mortgage lending? Um, I would say a lot of things that I would say to them, all the things that you've already heard me say, mostly with learn all you can about the mortgage business, education and growth being learn all you can and start a lot sooner than I did and learn the science of sales. I believe now it's like a science. There's certain things and certain ways to do things to make progress. That's what I would tell them. And I would also strongly advise get a coach. Took me way too long. And the reason that is get a coach and then do what they tell you to do. And I also believe, which is I say these things not because I'm just blabbing, but because these are the things that I do. And I recommend every opportunity that I have to talk to the younger people coming in. I thrive on that. I would say train every day, just like if you're a professional football player. They don't just eat burgers and fries all week long and then show up on Sunday and put on that spectacular Mahomes show.
Right.
Showing my bias.
Wow. No kidding.
They don't. They
He's cut
train
from this.
every day.
Cut that part.
Yeah, they train every day, all the time. They train to perfect their craft, their art. This is no different. Sales is just like that. And so I would also add, sharpen all your skills, all of them. Take actions. Got to get past just thinking about it and installing, but think and then you put it into actions and work on having the positive and can-do mindset. Sorry to be preachy, but I had to do all that because this is not automatic. This is not natural.
Right.
But apparently it can be learned and it can be done because I've seen it in my own life. My own son didn't ask me for all this advice, but he figured it out and he does all this and he's mega successful doing mortgages. Because first he saw me do it and then he thought, well, gee, there's money to be made in this. But he had to learn how to perfect it and make it better and continue to this day. I have to add one more thing. And here's also what thrills me. I got a call from Van Dieb and his main COO say, will you meet with this brand new agent and kind of introduce them to, working with other lenders or what you know about real estate? And he and I have an appointment at this Thursday. So this is a young man coming into the business, and I love talking about
that's
the
great.
business.
That's so great.
See,
Okay.
comes from being around.
Mentor.
They are.
That's right.
So it's my
Now
turn
your
to
turn.
to
It's
give
your
back,
turn.
and I
Pay
love
it
it.
forward.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
So
Oh
like
my
that.
goodness.
Congratulations to both of you.
Yes.
Thank
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Oh, you're both feel like I feel motivated. I feel
Yes.
fired up. I feel
Yes.
jazzed up, ready
Get
to
her
go.
job,
You
PK.
did. You did.
Like, I
Go
don't-
and
I
do
don't-
that marketing.
I don't
like
need
nobody.
that pump up music on the way
Yes,
back to the
yes.
office. So thank you both
That's
so
fun.
much. I know you're
Thank
busy
you
and I
for
know
having
you've got
us.
things to do and
Mhm.
more goals to smash. So we want to let you get back to that, but we really appreciate you joining us on the podcast today and hopefully gave our listeners just that little nudge maybe they need to continue on their path, continue on that journey, take that step to reach their goal. So appreciate you. I know that kind of gave me a little fire into something that I got brewing in my life. So I appreciate that.
Love that. Cliffhanger?
Yes. Big
Cliffhanger. Yeah.
cliffhanger.
Nothing is out
Next
of
episode.
reach. You just have to stay positive and keep putting one foot in front of the other. So I love that you both lived that and breathed that and you continue to every day. So for our amazing listeners, keep rating, reviewing, sharing your favorite episode. Next time there's an award, if you want to vote for us, we'll make sure we get that info out because we like those awards.
You bet.
We like to be award winning. It gives us a little nudge.
Mhm.
And if you don't want to miss an episode, be sure you subscribe to our podcast. If you have any financial or even career focused topics that you want to learn more about and questions specifically that you want to ask our experts, you can email us at pennyforyourthoughts@centrisfcu.org. and we'll find the right person to bring on the show. For more great insights, tips, and financial education, you can follow Centris on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it these days, and LinkedIn, or check out our website at centrisfcu.org. And if you just want to chat with someone like PK or D, you can give us a call at 402-334-7000. We really hope you enjoyed this episode, everyone. Thanks again for listening.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.